Ventana. Ora mio, ora mio.
Whoa!
Perché? Subito.
Good afternoon. This morning I bought 21 books, and there are quite a few school-related books in there. A few that are going for great money. So it was a nice haul, and I'm excited to get slowly back into books, building up my books, sending in a lot more books than I have been versus the CDs and other things. I'm really looking forward to August and back to school and launching into the holidays as well. Hopefully you're out there finding some books, because school has just ended. The semester has just ended for most colleges across the country. This week specifically, there's a lot of colleges getting out. Finals are over, they're going to go to graduation, or they're going to leave. They're not graduating yet, go home. So a lot of kids are getting rid of stuff, all kinds of stuff, throwing it in the garbage, tossing it in the recycling bin. So if you're near any colleges, you might want to take a peek in some dumpsters or recycling bins, especially around dorms. But you're going to be watching this on Saturday, so it may or may not be too late. Depends on when the trash is picked up and recycling is picked up around the colleges where you live. But it could be worth it if it's something that you are comfortable doing. I didn't actually do that today, but I was able to grab 21 books, many of them being school-related books, and I think that they had a fair amount of them because of school letting out, and that seems to be the case, that these good books are popping up all over the place, whether it's thrift stores, whether it's garage sales, whether it's a bookstore within the library, the Friends of the Library. These books start to pop up, and they should be popping up for a while, for weeks and sort of into the summer and then dwindle out. But it's definitely worth trying to locate some of these. If you can get them for free out of a dumpster, then awesome. And if you have the time to do it, and if you have the ability to do it, then go for it. I saw someone comment on a Facebook group. I know I'm frequently talking about threads on Facebook groups. It's just because some interesting stuff comes up, so I might as well talk about it with you guys and see what you think. But they were talking about that sales are slow in May, and I have the opposite experience. My sales are doing well. The repriced books that I repriced in April, a lot of them are selling into May, and a lot of this new stuff that I have is selling as well. So it's clearly May, it's not July or August or September, so it's not going to be an incredible month. It's not going to be a record month, but it's going to be a steady month. It should be. And I'm selling some CDs as well, and I just sent in a bunch of CDs, so I should be selling more this month. A few VHS is not a lot, but diversifying is one way to deal with the slower months, and just sending in more shipments, period. I don't know if that person is sending in consistent shipments or how much inventory they have and that sort of thing, or how they price their items. There's all kinds of factors, but I don't think May or April should be particularly slow. It's just going to be slower than the peak months. January and into part of February are some of the peak months of the year, and then March, April, it slows down, but it's not bad. The bottom line is the more books you send in, or other items that are going to sell, that are good items to send in, you're going to make sales, and your sales should go up. That's the thing I don't understand. People talk about, oh, I don't have many sales. Well, have you been doing it long enough to look at how it was last year? Is it down? Is it the same? Is it just barely less? Like you're 5 sales less than you did last year? Or are you way down? You're 50 sales less? Because then you need to look at your inventory, at your consistency in sourcing and shipping. There's a lot of factors. Just to say, oh, are people's sales down? Is something happening? Is something wrong? Makes no sense. I don't understand the way people think. If you stop sending in inventory, your sales are going to slow down. Unless you're sending in, or unless your inventory is quick turnover books. Some people only want to sell stuff that's, let's say, ranked under 500,000 or under 200,000, then you're going to turn over those books quickly. If all the books I sent in were ranked under 200,000, I would have to be sending in a lot more books to keep up with the pace of the sales. But I have a mixture, right, of mid-length, long tail books. So some will take 3 to 6 months, some will take 6 months, 6 to 12 months, and some will sell within 3 months or within a few weeks or within a month. I don't understand this, and this is not the first person I've seen say this, and I've seen it in multiple Facebook groups. What's happening with sales? Is anyone else sales down? Been slow. Well, it's slower because it's not a prime month, a big book selling month. But if everything else is in order, consistent shipping, consistent sourcing, consistent shipments, are you repricing some of your stuff? It's some of your older stuff. Are you sourcing the right stuff that's going to sell if you want to be selling stuff immediately as it hits the warehouse? If those things are not in place, then your sales could be down or stagnant or just kind of flatlining. The more sales you make, the more inventory you have to send in if you want to maintain or grow your sales. That's basically how it works. Last month I made 155 sales. Well, if I don't send in at least 155 items this month or more, then chances are I won't equal or surpass the sales that I did last month. There's other factors, like if I reprice a bunch of stuff, then I could sell that stuff off quicker. But all things being equal, you gotta keep sending items, and you can't just sit down and say, well, I'm going to take a few weeks off and then expect your sales to go up or stay the same, because it's probably going to start to slowly decline as your inventory starts to sell out. You have to replenish your inventory. No one else is going to do it. These aren't digital products that there's an endless amount of ebooks or Kindle books or whatever it is. These are physical products that we have to find, list, pack up, and ship. Once the item is sold, that's it. Unless you've sent in 10 copies of it. Basically, the only way you're going to be able to replenish that item or any other item is to send in more copies, or just send in different items, different books, and different other types of products. This is common sense, clearly. I'm telling you something that you already know, but it just doesn't make any sense to me why someone would complain or ask, aren't sales slow today? Are sales slow this month for you or this week? On the non-peak months, it's just, I don't know if people expect to have incredible sales throughout the whole year, but you can have whatever level is incredible for you consistently if you send in enough inventory and you keep sending in inventory. That's basically the bottom line. So I think I've talked this to death, but let me know what you think in the comments below, because it's everyone's right to complain, but it seems that people are really confused about the answers or the reasons behind not selling as much as they think they should be, or perhaps as they were earlier in the year, whatever it may be. It just depends on what you're comparing this month or the previous month to. I knew that March and April were not going to be as good as February, and definitely not going to be as good as January. But I wanted to keep increasing my sales, wanted to grow. So that's what I'm working on. I'm really pushing hard now for books, everything really. But I want to send in a lot more books before back to school happens. So let me know what you think. So it's just, this conversation just always strikes me as bizarre. Almost as if people are blaming Amazon or blaming something going on in the world or in the country, thinking that affects sales. There's certain things, like people say on the last weekend before taxes are due, there's less sales. Things like that, last day to do your taxes, maybe some other times right after Christmas, the day after Christmas, things like that. But by and large, in this country and in many countries, people are spending money. They're consuming. We're consumers. We consume, we spend money, we buy things on and offline. People are always buying stuff, especially on Amazon. If you put up your products, people are going to buy them. That's the thing that's really got my attention about repricing. I dropped the prices, but people, regardless, there's still people buying. All I had to do was drop prices. Sometimes I had to drop it down to $5, $4.95, $5.95, $6.95. I just sold one for $8.93 that I initially listed for $40, but I still made a profit, and it sold. On these listings where the rank might not be that great, there's not that many sales happening, sales can still happen. Sometimes you just have to drop the price. People are not willing to pay what you wanted for the book. Sales can happen in a lot of different ways. Let's not worry. I don't think you can do what you want, but I don't want to spend my time asking or wondering why sales might be down. I just put my head down and I just source and ship and source and ship and source and ship, and now reprice and source and ship and reprice and list, etc. That solves everything. I'm not saying you shouldn't look at your sales and say, oh, it seems like it's not as much as it was the previous week or whatever. But I mean, it's going to fluctuate. The normal non-peak book selling months are going to be less than the other months, but it's going to fluctuate from day to day and week to week. You can build it up to be steady. My 5 sales a day is, I don't have 5 sales every single day. That's averaged out over the whole month. The 155 was almost 5 sales a day. One day I had 1 sale, one day I had 7 sales, 4 sales, 6 sales. You get the point. It's all over the place. It's inconsistent. So if I had 4 sales yesterday and today I only had 1, I'm not going to say, oh my God, what's happening? Because tomorrow I could have 7 sales. And that's how it works. So don't focus too much on that stuff. Focus on what's important. Sourcing, listing, shipping, repricing. And it's the weekend again, so get out there and hit some yard sales, hit some estate sales. Hopefully if there's any book sales, you can do that as well. And remember, as always, keep booking.